NLP. We've had a great session in the last week on affirmations and NLP, and we're going to talk about NLP and its application today. Well, before I proceed, a lot of people who doesn't know me or my new viewers, hello to everyone. I am Ritima Dua, and I am the New Code NLP trainer by Michael, John, and Carmen by NLP Academy London. I'm proud to say, yes, I'm very happy that we are issuing diplomas for New Code NLP, and the practice has started. The new way of doing NLP, and it is happening in India online, and we're also going ahead and meeting people in our office. So, welcome everyone. Hello, viewers. I hope that you're able to hear my voice. Please give me a go ahead, an okay message. I can see your message, all of you. When you will start typing in that you're able to hear my voice, just give me a go over there in the chat box so that I can see all of you live together on YouTube, on my Facebook World of NLP group, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram together, all the places. This is a very interesting technology that I can be live at all the places. Good evening there. Good evening. Thank you so much for confirming that I'm audible from Facebook. Thank you so much. I do not get the name of the user when you're writing, and if you have any questions from Facebook, you can write the name. Thank you so much. You can write your name whenever you are typing any questions for Facebook. For YouTube, I'm able to see the name. For people who are typing in from Insta, also you can write your name while asking question. From LinkedIn, hello LinkedIn viewers, good evening to everyone. I am Rithima Dua, and we are doing our Tuesday live session. And this is hi to all the viewers on all the platforms. Let me reframe again. We have been doing Tuesday live sessions. It's going fantastic, and thank you so much for your support on all the platforms. There are questions which is coming before on our WhatsApp group. There are questions which is coming at personal on my email or on my personal WhatsApp or through my team members. So thank you so much for the questions. Good evening, Umesh. Lovely to see you from LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being there. So, today we are going to focus on the concept of NLP and basically the most important part applications of NLP. So, a lot of people have heard about NLP, people who are following me, they know a lot about NLP, or they have heard about NLP, or they are still curious to know about what is neuro linguistic programming. Today, I want to focus on applications of NLP, and I have some questions with me already being asked by Sonali, Tanya. There is another person, Bivita, and some other people who have asked me questions. I'm going to take ahead those questions. We have 40 minutes to be precise. And if you have any questions on any of the platform, hello, Nilesh. Good evening there from LinkedIn. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for watching the show. And if you have any questions, all of you watching from Facebook, YouTube, Insta, or any other platform, you can type in your question. I am receiving a message from Facebook that I am freezed. I would like to know all of you because my screen is showing that I'm going good. So can you let me know, any of the members on any of the screens, that you're able to listen and also able to see me clearly? Can you confirm so that I can go ahead? No, you are not able to see me still on the Facebook. Okay, all right. Anyone from LinkedIn? Hi, Nilesh, Umesh, or YouTube or Insta? Can you please confirm? Hi, Atul. Thank you so much for your question. Okay, fine. Thank you. And now I have a confirmation from Facebook that they're able to see and hear. I will go ahead with the questions. I have a question on application of NLP. I'm focusing directly today on how to apply NLP in your life, which can be any kind of context, whether it is money, whether it is your career, whether it is your love, whether it is relationship, whether it is teams, whether it is performance, whether it is any kind of thing. Thank you, Umesh. Thank you, Nilesh, for confirming. Thank you, Atul, for confirming from YouTube. Thank you, someone confirming from the Facebook. Thank you, Sandeep. Good evening. Lovely to have you. So, as we are focusing on these concepts and the applications, basically, I am covering the questions around the application. Atul, I will take your question after the question which I have. And the question which I have on the applications of NLP, someone asked me that where can I apply NLP? A simple answer to that is you can apply NLP wherever you would like to. It depends on you. If you would like to apply NLP in your personal life, you can go ahead and do so. If you would like to apply NLP in your professional life, you can go ahead and do so. If you would like to apply NLP for physical health, you can go ahead and do so. If you would like to apply NLP for improving your team performance at a professional level, yes, you can do so. If you would like to apply NLP at your conflicts which is arising at professional level or internal conflicts which you are thinking you are having, you can do so. All right, so there are multiple places where you can actually apply the concepts and the techniques. I'm here to answer some of the very specific questions which has been asked, and I request all of you, if you have any questions which is around the applications, or you've been thinking that how would I achieve my goal, or there is some inconsistency, there's some procrastination, you can ask me any questions on that. I'm going ahead. Umesh, yes, it does give a best roadmap for aspiring. Yes, absolutely. I agree to you, Umesh. I'm going ahead with my first question. And my first question is Sonali is asking how to apply NLP to get new ideas. So, for this, Sonali, I would like to answer you because you are already doing new code with us and you've been really following very well all the specific techniques. You must have observed that new code NLP, I'm talking about the other new NLP, which is there. For people who doesn't know, there are two NLP. One is classic code NLP, which came up in the year 1970 to 1972. 1979 was a time of development of new patterns and coding, and all of that was done by John Grinder and Richard Bandler. And then came in the era of new code NLP. I did my new code NLP with NLP Academy London directly from John Grinder, Michael Carroll, and Carmen Bostic. And I must say that new code NLP is a new way, is a very interesting, non-linear, intelligent and smart way to connect with your unconscious and have states on demand just like that, and is so different than the classic code. To answer your question, Sonali, new code NLP games, which you would play multiple times. And the moment, supposing you are in your seat and you would like to have new idea, this is what I have tested, Sonali, already. You get up and you play that alphabet game, you shake it off and you play the alphabet game and you come back to your seat. And suddenly there is a new flow of ideas which just occurs. That's one way. Second, by doing these different patterns and different games, also you can have micro muscle with yourself. Like the moment you would do a micro muscle in your body, the moment you would do that, your state would change. And the moment your state would change, new ideas will start flowing. Because the most important part of new ideas is when people are not getting new ideas, is basically they are stuck or the movement is not happening. And then these techniques will directly help you to get that into get the new ideas for you. I hope, Sonali, that you have the tools for practice. Sonali and many others, all of you are there in our new code NLP session. The new code NLP session is already on. We have the next batch coming up in the month of October. And we run this batch for 1.5 months with a continuous practice of 6 months to practice all the games so that the state just occurs on demand when you want it. Another point, Sonali, for getting new ideas, something very important is that a lot of people, when they are working towards a particular thing, they, if they are not congruent at that moment in that time with their unconscious, that is also a point of time when they get stuck in the new ideas. So it is good that you communicate with your unconscious that you are would like to be clear, and what is that which you are lacking, what incompetency is there. All right, that's one way to address it. I would go ahead and thank you so much, Shankar, for asking the question. I will take Atul's question, and I will take then Shankar's question. I also have Tanya's question. Let me go to Atul. Atul has asked a question from the last week session. The last week session was on affirmation. We also have a tool of affirmation. You can write to us at connect at i-flame.in, and you can get all the affirmation kit. You can also follow me on Spotify, Anchor, and you can view and hear my podcast on affirmations. Atul has a question. The question is, ma'am, can you give a powerful affirmation for doubling income? Okay, all right. A simple way, Atul. I already have my income doubled in my accounts, which is staying, and it is more and more, doubling and doubling by its own. I am taking continuous efforts very easily and effortlessly to make it happen. My energies are congruent to do so. And with that, Atul, this is what I would like to say. You can replay this. With this, Atul, you can also make a plan and make 3 small actionables every week, just 3 small actionables every week, which would be in alignment with your doubling income. Hope that helps you, Atul. Please let me know when you apply this. Thank you so much. All right, I am going ahead with a question by Shankar. How can I use NLP to improve communication skill? Thank you so much, Shankar, for asking this question. Neurolinguistic programming technically is used all the time in communication, whether it is communication with self or whether it is communication with others. If I have to say, how do I improve my communication skill using NLP? I can, one, utilize the strategy of VACOG, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, which is sensory system. One, understand my own communication, the way I communicate with myself, whether I see and hear and then I feel, whether I see and feel, how do I communicate with myself? Let me give you an example. When I used to communicate with my husband, I did not know that I was communicating with visual kinesthetic, and my husband was communicating with auditory and more kinesthetic also at a personal level, which was a stuck situation. When I understood the communication system itself within the brain, it helped me to communicate better. That's one. Number two, the way we utilize language patterns in communication using meta model, Milton model, is a very interesting tool in professional life to have benefits in communication with the team or with managers or with clients. Three, Milton model is effectively used in professional places for persuasion and influencing. Successful people have been using Milton model more and more all the time so easily that it just clicks. This is what I just did right now, Milton model again. So there are many different ways. This question which you have asked is a very good question, and there are many different ways. And how would you be able to do it? Is this answer sufficient? No, not at all. Practice is what it takes. No one, I believe, can actually learn NLP and apply NLP in their life until they practice, 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 which also comes to me by John Grinder. I think to all the viewers, I would like to definitely say that it's been from the month of September till now, to September 2020 till August 2021, we have continuous practice sessions running. And I think these practice sessions are really, really helping people to apply NLP in their life. I hope that I have answered some part of your question, Shankar. If you have any other specific question, like you would like to ask, that I would like to use NLP to improve communication in my personal life with some XYZ, I can give you more very specific details at what's happening wrong and what can be improved that way. One line NLP improves your confidence, your personality, your attitude, it changes everything. And that's why communication becomes better and easy. All right, I will move on to Sandeep, how to adapt to new changes in the dynamic work environment. Thank you, Sandeep, for asking this question. And I would say I have a different answer to it. I would say that I would love to have new changes in the work environment so that it is interesting, isn't it? Right? And when we would reframe it, that I always look forward to have new kind of changes because I'm flexible and because I would like to learn more, the presupposition that the new changes requires adaptability would go away from the brain. So there is something called presupposition, Sandeep. Whenever we say something, we are presupposing already that maybe new changes are not so easy to accept. So, yep, generally human behavior have been saying that and been talking about it. But tell me, how interesting it would be if I reframe to my internal map that I look forward for flexibility, I look forward for new changes because I'm flexible and I'm so curious to learn new things. And then you would observe how your mind shifts and the whole shift happens internally, and then externally, of course, there's a shift because there's a map which has changed. Let me know how does it work. You can go back, Sandeep, apply it for this next coming week. Come back next week in the Tuesday session, also live, and let me know how does it work for you. Test it. Don't believe me. Go and test it. Let me know if that is okay for you and if it is acceptable and if it can be a deal, Sandeep. Thanks. Hello, Pandit. Good evening. Hi. And I am going ahead for one more question. I have another question here. And the question is by Tanya. And she has asked me that how can I utilize NLP for exams preparation? The question is very specifically, the question is, one second, I'm going on the screen to get the question here. How can we use NLP for competitive exam preparation? Again, Tanya, in this question, there is again a presupposition for competitive exams. So this means number one, I'm not saying it is bad, I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm trying to tell you that number one, the moment there is a competitive word, maybe the pressure is already created inside. Number two, can I replace it and say that I would like to be more flexible and more open for new kind of exams which I'm going to appear? And then create circle of excellence as a technique which you can utilize to create resourceful states and take it to the peak and hold it. And if you can train your students, Tanya is also a classic code diploma. She has done NLP. So I'm talking to her in that lines. So Tanya, if you can train your students continuously to maintain their state using Circle of Excellence, then it would help them a lot to maintain it. Number one. Number two, Tanya, if you remember very clearly, while you're talking to your students, and if the students say, individuals say, that, oh, you know what, there is an exam coming up, observe how is the body moving, the non-verbal cues, and find out, like we find out in your personal coaching, that it's just that this part of yours were getting different, right? So find out what is a non-verbal cue for us, calibrate that, pick that up, and then find out a fun, a curious, a flexible state for this person in which he's highly resourceful, and then map it up, which means that whenever a person sits for that preparation for the exam, he is automatically getting into a resourceful state. If we map these states internally and if we install this, then the way they would perform in their competitive exam would be just amazing. I hope, Tanya, that you have understood the technical answer to it, which you have practiced. I want you to go back, test it with your kids, send me a voice note or send me an email at connect at iflame, or you have my email ID also at rithima at iflame.in, and let me know if that works for you. Alrighty? Great. People, if you have understood what I'm saying, others, and if you are able to relate to what I am saying, I would love to hear from all of you from different platforms. Are you able to connect that NLP can be utilized at communication level, at the different work environment? I spoke about presupposition, I spoke about competitive exams, and many different things. Rubia, hi Rubia, welcome. So I have a question from Rubia from YouTube. Can I apply NLP to deal with anxiety as I've been going through anxiety issues for a few months? Rubia, my respect and love to you. The answer is absolutely yes. I personally have applied NLP, neuro linguistic programming tools, for different kind of fears and anxiety issues which I used to have long back. And new code NLP, classic code NLP, both has powerful techniques to deal with it. There could be many reasons, all right, and definitely it can be dealt. And I would like, Rubia, you to reframe this, okay? And here is my proposal. I would like you to go back and think that what happens when you are thinking that you're anxious. Maybe your breathing changes, maybe the way you talk changes, maybe your forehead or your body changes, right? Okay. And also observe that what happens to your body when you are in a fun time, in a curious time, or happy or relaxed, whatever. It's just a language, right? And observe what happens to your body. Now what I want you to do, Rubia, is that the moment you get to know that you are falling into that kind of anxiety state, if you are falling into that kind of state, get up, shake it off, and get into the fun state again. I know it is difficult, and I also know it is possible. It is possible because you will go and practice these techniques. All right. We can do all of these work, of course, of programming your mind, etc., with practice. And if you can just identify this over this discussion right now by sitting itself, you can do it right now if you want. Also, people who are listening to me, let's stop labeling ourselves that we get anxiety or fear. Let us only say that we get a state which is not so useful at times, a state in which my shoulders go like that, or my forehead is tightened, or my jaw is tight, or I am maybe like that. Okay, so notice your body and let us not label it with the words. Labeling is one thing which really take people into more anxiety, more fear, or more negative state. Do you agree that if we just remove the label and if we just talk about the body and which kind of state I want, and if we do a mapping, it would really help and it will be faster. People who have done NLP, do you agree that this reframing can really help the clients to move faster? Let me know over there on the platform. Okay, there is a question. Rubia, I hope that we have answered your question. Let me know if you can take this, use it, and come back and tell me. If you would like to have more detail and if you would like to have more and more resourceful states in your bag, yes, definitely join in the whole program of 2 months and you would bang on to it. You can go and test many people who have done it already. All right, Rubia? Thank you so much. Let me know on the chat, is this helpful to you? Can you go back and apply this? Okay, I have some more questions from others. I have a question from a Facebook user. I'm going ahead. While in business meetings or in relationship conversation, how can we manage disagreement to not become misunderstanding when the time is less? Wow, beautiful question. I love this question because it has condition that I have less time and there is a disagreement to manage so that it doesn't become a misunderstanding. In simple words, I would like to say that if you have less time, focus on the intention. People are different. They're only giving you their own perceptions. There is no right, no wrong. They have their own different perceptions and different maps. And if they are having different maps and you are having a different map, what both of you, both the parties can do is they can go back to the intention. What's the intention of this discussion? If the intention of this discussion, supposing, is to increase the sales, or if the discussion is to give a customer service, if that is the clear intention you have, it would be easy for you to leave the feelings to it and focus on the objectivity. So what happens is that people only sometimes get into feeling and not focus on the objectivity. Focus back on the objectivity. And and one more thing, if you have a little more time, then you can definitely offer this. Okay, I understand what you're saying, and this is one of the perceptions and the way we can do it. And if I may offer a proposal, and continuously while you're doing so, you are pacing the person and you're in the rapport. If I may offer you another proposal, and this is the proposal which can also meet the intention. And while you're saying that, observe what's happening in the person body. Observe whether the person is again changing non-verbally, so that you know that there is some clue coming to you of that offer. And then give time, give that pause. If you have this time, you can do the offering of the proposal with pacing, and then giving time at that time, and then taking the discussion ahead. Again, in both of the cases, whether less time or a little more time, in both of the cases, in my opinion, I would focus on the intention directly, leaving the feelings. It's very, very important. I hope that I have answered your question on Facebook. I do not know who has asked that question, but this question was a very interesting question. I think NLP is so big a tool. People who are listening to this, I think that you can apply all the tools and the concepts in such a way, like a cook. If the cook has different ingredients, if you're baking a cake, and if you have flour, if you also have some chocolate, if you have some cookies, if you have some Oreos, if you have some Bonvita, if you have some sugar or less sugar or whatever, depending on what the requirement is, you can choose and customize your flavor. Like the way you bake different cakes is exactly the way you can customize different flavors. Though the basics of baking, the basics of mixing, the basics of putting it for those minutes would remain the same, isn't it? Right? It is that way, and it's so interesting. All right, I would go ahead and take one more question. And the question is by, one second, there is a question by our people, Bivita. Bivita, hi, good evening. She has a question that she has also a classic code NLP diploma, and she has been practicing very well. She has a question around shaking off the state. I wanted to know, what do we do to shake off or change our state when we are stuck? I know to shake it off or get rid of the stuck state, but sometimes when I'm actually in that position, it just doesn't come sometimes. How do I get that more? Okay, how do I act immediately? So there are multiple things. Vivita, to answer your question, I would answer it in a different way because you know NLP. And people who are already new in NLP also can utilize this. Hi, Vivita. Have a negotiation with your unconscious and ask the unconscious in that negotiation, which is the new core NLP format. And in that negotiation, the way Carmen Bostic has utilized this concept and has introduced this concept to me, it's amazing. I would do this. I will ask my unconscious, whenever I go into that state and I myself consciously is forgetting it, I am not doing it and it is not striking me. I want you to do something in my body, maybe create heat or create coolness at that particular place, so that I am reminded that you're asking me to shake it off and change my state. This is one way to do it. There can be another way. I can ask unconscious, you represent different choices which can be utilized at that time and take the responsibility and the ecology check which can be done by Vita. So there can be multiple options to do this. These are the two options which is coming in my mind right now because you already know unconscious signals and it's a beautiful technique. You've already utilized that multiple time. Utilize that same technique for this principle, for this outcome which you are thinking, Bivita. All right? Go do it and let me know through a message. You know how to connect with me easily. Let me know through the message that it works. Have you understood my proposal, Bivita? Confirm me on the YouTube. Yes, if you have any question on that proposal, please ask me right now so that you can go back and actually apply this. My intention to come online to all the viewers on Instagram. Hi, people on Instagram, Facebook. Hello, Facebook viewers, YouTube, and LinkedIn. My intention to come over here is to make sure that you start applying these tools and concepts which is so famous all over the world, and what people are lacking is applications of these powerful tools. Think about it. If you continue doing practice of these techniques and tools for the continuous 2 3 months, the way we are doing it in the practice session, there are so many states which will emerge, and then you'd be able to handle yourself and handle your communication and improve the way you live life. It'd be so easy. All right. So my intention is to make sure that you take as much as possible today itself. When I will see you in the next meet, in the next event on Tuesday, definitely you can ask me more questions. Bevita says, bingo, I shall go with my unconscious and will keep you updated. Great. Thank you so much, Bevita, for your question. Okay, I have some more questions here. I'll take last two questions. We have 5 minutes technically remaining. Uh, there's a question, very interesting question from Shruti, and she's asking, we can do micro muscle pinching or slight movement from where we stood, sing out. Okay, she's answering Bivita as well about we can do different things to have different states for ourselves. Yes, Shruti, we can do that. You're talking about conscious movement. You're talking about conscious, pinching like that, correct? That is what you're talking about. What I'm talking about is not conscious. What I'm talking about is my unconscious, which is already a big server, takes the responsibility to help me, and I am not going to remember thing. It will just do it like in a flow. It just does it, right? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I am going ahead and taking one more question. There's a question by Sonali. There's a question by Sonali, and she's saying that how do I put across our perspective in a professional scenario in a more confident and convincing manner? Okay, using NLP. All right. So, Sonali, you are also NLP. You're also doing new code NLP. And my proposal to you, Sonali, would be about while you are talking about presenting your view, my proposal to you would be one, focus on the intention of your view, number one. Number two, make sure that you are continuously pacing with the person to whom you're presenting. Number three, utilize Milton model patterns like if I may, if we may, and we can, something like that. Instead of we must, instead of you have to, instead of I don't know, something like that. So utilize may, maybe, can, will, more and more, easily, all of these. Number four, I think now, confidence. I think confidence is a lot to do with my unconscious agreement. So whenever I come in on any meetings or in any of the sessions, what I want to do is I just want my unconscious to take care of things. Like today, again, viewers, for example, my throat is not doing well. Maybe you can observe. And I've had an agreement with my unconscious that you take care of it. And then after the session, I will take care of you. It's kind of a negotiation. So have an agreement with your unconscious to have confident state. And number five, as you just started learning new code, you will do so many games, Sonali, which will help you to create multiple states which can be utilized as confident. And confident is just one word. There can be multiple different states which can bring you a lot of multiple states and not one. All right. So that is about Sonali's question. All of you, have you understood what I'm talking about? If you have any questions around this application, please ask me so. Oh, yeah, be friend unconscious. There's a question by someone, and the person is asking, while coaching, how will you convince or influence the mentee? Okay. Whomsoever has asked this, please write your name. I would like to have a direct conversation with you. My challenge to you is what would happen if I am not convincing? I have 3 minutes here. What would happen if I am not convincing? I am not here to convince. I'm here to challenge rather while I'm coaching. Hi Vishnu, good evening. So Vishnu, in coaching there's a myth of that I'm going to convince you that you should do this. How do you convince, right? You use these patterns. No, I think you should be doing a little more. I think you should be doing this. I think you should be doing that, right? Correct. Instead of that, I would like to offer a proposal, challenge people. And my offering of a proposal and challenge will be focused on the intention which the coachee want to serve and not what I want them to serve. Do you understand the thin difference between I asking my coachee to do something or rather focusing on the intention what the coachee would like to achieve? There's a thin difference over there. So I would go ahead with I'm going to offer a proposal with challenge. And if my coachee is congruent and if my coachee is focused to achieve their intention, they would automatically be going in that process. And if they are not going, I can again pace and offer a different one so that they again go back and focus on their intention. Because I, as a coach, would always focus on what my coachee's intention is. I hope, Vishnu, I've answered your question. Please let me know if that is useful to you. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I have a question from Rubia. I'm taking this last question. If you all have any other question, you can connect with us at connect@i-flame.in. My team can write that email ID on all the channels, on all the platforms. We have our classic code, the whole session already running. You can again connect with Priyanka or Deepika if you would like to know about classic code. The new code NLP diploma is coming up again in the month of October, and we would be starting the batch. The batch is currently running already. There is okay, Vishnu says somehow. All right, Vishnu, please ask me if you have more question around it, please. Yeah. Rubia, I'll take your question. I'll go back to Vishnu then. Rubia's question is, could you elaborate on the confidence part from Sonali's question? Okay, Rubia. Confidence is one of the state, right? How do I feel confident, Rubia? So people will say that, oh, I feel confident, but then do they know that how are their shoulders when they're feeling confident? How is their back when they feel confident? How do they keep their hands when they feel confident? How are their eyes? How is their pitch? So these are non-verbal cues which can be understood by using observation, and more importantly, knowing ourselves better and observing more and more. Then, new code NLP, also classic code, both can do the techniques. In classic code, you have a conscious techniques on circle of excellence, technique on anchoring, which utilize different states to create confidence. With that, new code NLP also have different games which does not directly work on the confident, which works on I go in a professional work environment, there is something which I can improve. What is that something? I don't know. There is something which I can improve. Giving just one word will limit me. So I will play a game and I would, use all my left and right brain, all the parallel processes, and create a optimal state and carry this optimal state, multiple different optimal state by playing multiple different games, come in my work environment, and in my work environment automatically like this the state would actually emerge. So I was talking about those new code NLP multiple states wherein we are not defining by the mind, right? The way anxiety, for example, Rubia, you spoke about, is a label. Confidence is also one of the words. So we move away from the words in new code and we create multiple states so that it occur in the reality. That's what we would like to do. I hope, Rubia, this answered and your question, and it gave you insights on new code NLP. Also, a lot of people doesn't know about new code NLP. You can connect at i-flame.in, or you can call Priyanka to set up a call and discussion around the new code. You can meet our buddies who are doing coaching under us. They are performing really well, and you can know more about it. All right, people, I have had many questions. There are a few of them which is still not answered. I will be sending the voice recording or the video on those questions. I will see you around the next week, Tuesday. One of the Tuesdays, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, YouTube live session at 7 o'clock. Next Tuesday, it is going to be at 7 p.m. IST. 7 p.m. IST. And again, some more questions on NLP. So, great viewers, thank you so much. If you would like to know more about our courses, you can connect with the team. If you have any other questions which I have not answered, please write to us and I would be happy to answer all of you. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening and amazing healthy dinner. Thank you, everyone. See ya. Bye bye. Take care.